I'm Coach Dave. Welcome back to Coach's Corner.
Come on.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Dave McDonough, coach of Champs Boxing. Today we have pro fighter Doug Marroquin.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome, Doug. We appreciate
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My man. 4-0.
Yes, sir.
Right? Mm-hmm. Signed to CES Boxing, my friend Jimmy Burchfield.
Yes, sir.
All right. We also have his coach watching in the wings over here, Coach Mendez.
Mendez Boxing.
From Mendez Boxing in Norwalk. Welcome, Coach. We appreciate you too.
Let's do it.
All right. We see you at some of the shows, putting some good guys out there now.
Yeah.
What's up, Doug? So, you've been in the area around, getting ready for your fourth pro fight, February 22nd in Foxwoods. How's training going?
Training is well. I have my team that's pushing me.
Right.
Wilner, my coach, basically like a father figure to me. He's pushing me. We have tons of amateurs that we push each other. But there's always local fighters as well there that we always get work. But we're getting ready. Tough opponent, James Manor. 7-0. I'm 4-0 at the moment.
So you're fighting James Manor out of Mass, right?
No, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, out of Estrada Boxing.
Something like that.
Yeah. That'd be a good bout. That's a good bout right there.
Yeah, it's a big opponent too. He's tall.
He's a little tall, yeah.
But we never shy out to a battle. All my amateurs were with tall fighters as well, so we're already accustomed to those type of fighters.
Yeah, so I've seen your career around as an amateur and everything. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how boxing kind of found you? We talk about this with all the fighters and everybody in this sport, right?
Yeah.
Boxing finds us.
Yes,
we
sir.
don't find boxing.
Yes,
so
sir.
what was your attraction, and when did you really start with the sport?
I was always I'll say a troublesome kid. The usual boxing story, and the streets. Me as my coach.
Where did you grow up?
Guatemala. In the streets and dirt streets in Guatemala. So that kind of built me, my character. I grew up fatherless, just like my coach. That's why we relate to each other. We didn't have a father figure in our life. So we always doing like dumb stuff. I came back I left. I grew up. I was born here in Stamford, Connecticut. I left at 9 years old to Guatemala. From 9 to 16 was 7 years. I was there. Then I came back at 16, and then I went to high school here and everything. Still a troublesome kid. Always drama. I love the drama. Drama. I don't know what's into me, but everything that has to do with drama, I love it. The excitement, the rush, I love all that. And I think that's why boxing suit well for me. But I met boxing, or boxing met me, like you say. I was at a, what do you call those things where they kill animals and for meat? A meat pack?
Slaughterhouse?
A slaughterhouse. I was at a slaughterhouse with my friends because one of my friend, his family were doing something about the Muslims. They do, they have after Ramadan, I think it's called. After Ramadan, they have big feasts. So they went and they were going to kill their own.
They have to prepare the animal
and
a certain
supposedly
way.
it's a sacred if they do it their own killing, right? So they took me. They're like, listen, we need you to, hold this line for us. We're going to go pray. We come back. We're going to slaughter these animals, come back. And so the dude, I saw him and, they got the don't judge a book by its cover, right? And I saw him. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I do boxing. I said, you do boxing? His name is TJ. Shout out TJ. I said, no way you do boxing. He's like, yeah, I'm a boxer. And I'm like, but you don't look like a boxer. He's like, but I'm a boxer. And I'm like, where do you box? And he gave me the rundown of where he boxes. And I guess that's where we started. This was like 6 years ago in 2019. And ever since, boxing has become my life.
Yeah.
Bread and butter.
How many amateur fights?
I had
It's not a long time you're in this game.
No, it's been like 4 years,
Yeah.
5. I had 34 amateur fights from between New York and Connecticut.
Right.
New York. I had a lot of experienced fighters down in New York, but Connecticut has good fighters as well.
Yeah, we're coming. You know, it's starting to change here in Connecticut. The quality. There's a lot of good gyms, a lot of good coaches out there. You know, originally I'm out of New York, so you know,
Really?
That's where I grew up in New York, and
Okay.
my first experience in boxing was with, and you know, God rest his soul, was Pastor Ralph Farrat out of Cornerstone Boxing, Eddie Acevedo, Mousy. Shout out to those guys. I loved them. You know, we were in the South Bronx on 152 in Prospect.
Oh wow, yeah. New York's always been
Great
about boxing.
fighters coming out of that gym. I broke my cherry there, and when I moved to
go.
Connecticut, you know, I met Finelli Feliz Sr. and you know, we kind of
He's
just
doing
went.
big things with his kids.
Yeah.
Shout out.
You know, I actually, he had blessed me in the sport to be able to work with him for many fights, travel with him to camps, and you know, that's where that is. But my background definitely comes out of New York. But now being based in Connecticut, I'm an advocate for our state and the fighters that are here because, you know, growing up, New York was the game. You know, when I was a kid growing up,
They didn't have Gleason was the big,
but you know, when you fought in the Golden Gloves in New York, right? When you, as a fighter, and you went in the gyms, and you trained in all the gyms in New York, so you walked into the gym and then, you know, I'm getting ready for the gloves. It meant something, okay? Because to get to the semifinals or the quarterfinals or even the finals, you had to fight 5 or 6 times, and they were wars. Now, I had one fighter, a middleweight, who's a trainer in our gym, Troy Ortiz, who we fought in the gloves 2 years in a row, and we saw Danny Jacobs in the semis.
Oh, wow.
So we run the table, and then we got to fight Danny 2 years in a row. Bang, we're done. Danny beats us, you know. And nothing to take away from my fighter because he was a good fighter. But you know what? People don't think that Connecticut is similar with the fighters. And there's a lot of, like...
There's talent.
Look, you got Chad Dawson out of Connecticut, 3-time former world champion. You know, I mean, we can go on with the list of fighters.
You got Jermaine Ortiz right now.
Yeah.
You got the Felice brothers.
Yeah, I mean, going on, you know, John Scully, Tremaine Williams.
You got Douglas Marroquin.
Yeah, Douglas Marroquin's on the up and coming. Got to watch that name right there.
Yes,
We're not going to sleep on that. But, yeah, definitely. So what was it like when you walked into the gym? Now, in the beginning, were you with your original coach? Or who were you with?
Well, I met, he's one of the OGs that, you know, that kind of like molded me.
Did he want to throw you out the first day?
Not
Because
him. There was another gym.
I could see, man, you got that little swagger to you. You know, you
I
got
do.
that. And that's good because you know what? I like fighters with swagger. I think if you're going to fight, you got to have a little swagger.
Yeah, you got to be confident. I'm confident in what I do, you know, and I'm also humble. You know, I don't come in here. You know, I saw you doing an interview with somebody I knew, and I was about to come in. I've seen videos, but you know, I don't do stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just that's not me. I'm humble. You know.
Yeah.
So you know that's why I waited out there because I know Ryan. We know
good.
Ryan, and we go back and forth.
It's a close knit community, our boxing community. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and look, I pride myself on trying to have a really good reputation with everybody in this business because you know what, you never know who you're going to meet on the way up or the way down.
And you know what I also have in mind too is that it's a small world.
Yeah,
I've seen people that I never thought I would see them again, and in places that I would never think. You know, so that's one of the things that keep me humble. But also my coach, you know, he's another person that keeps me humble. You know, whenever I started, you know, start feeling myself, he's like, "Hey, come back."
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm blessed to have people like them. But yes, he's one of the. There was a coach who wanted to kick me out. Because I wanted to, as soon as they didn't teach me honestly at the beginning the boxing. If anything, I was more of a go in there and fight.
Right.
You know, that slugger thing, that slugger mentality. The more I did boxing, the more I understood the game, how like what a jab is, what a cross is, how do you throw certain punches, all that. But they wanted to kick me out because I wanted to fight a police officer that I saw, that I knew from outside. And I saw him in the gym, and then, I saw him like, listen, let's spar. He's like, no, I don't want to spar. I'm doing my weights right now. And then he's like, but why do you want to spar me? I said, because you stopped me last time. And then, boom, hell broke loose. They were like, they were going to kick me out if you don't calm down. And, you know, I don't know. I believe that when you're meant to be, certain people are meant to be in your life, you know. So I had the same day, whenever that happened, I had a guy come to me. He's like, listen, apologize to him. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, why would I apologize? You know, I was
young.
I was young, dumb, stupid, and I was heated at the moment because I really wanted to get my hands on him, right? But he's like, apologize to him right now because when you go outside, the world is his, and he could do whatever he wants with you because he's a police officer, you know? And then it took me some time to, like, understand and what he was talking about, and I didn't. I went. I'm like, listen, I apologize. I got heated. I didn't think it through. And he's like, and, you know, it worked out because I saw him again, and he stopped me, and he said, oh, Douglas, what are you doing? He's like, go ahead. So if I never did apologize, I would have been effed up. But
you know, that's the thing with gyms, man. You know, going in gyms, you don't know who's in there. We got pros, we got amateurs, you got business people, you know, police officers. Man, you don't know who's next to you. That's the great thing about a boxing gym because it's all a small community. Your gym is pulling for you. You know, every gym is pulling for the people in there, and there's a respect factor, whether you belong in that gym or you're a guest of that gym.
And yes, you're right. And I've also heard this quote, like, it doesn't matter if you're a lawyer, police, whatever you are. Once you come to the gym, we're all equal.
Everybody's the same.
Everybody's the same.
Everybody's the same.
So that's I fell in love with boxing, and I could almost say like I married boxing. Soon as like the first time I did sparring, and I know it was painful, but they told me like, all right, we're gonna see if you're really about it, and they put me in the sparring. I sparred. I didn't do well. I probably got my ass whooped. Came back again and kept on coming. Kept on coming.
This is the sport, and I was saying it with Ryan. I say it with everybody, okay? So my kids used to have a joke when they were younger about me and boxing, right? You talk about you being married with boxing, right? Because people would say, well, where's your father? And, you know, my youngest, she was a smart ass, right? Oh, he's with his girlfriend. And they would look like, what are you talking about? He's married. No, he's with his girlfriend. And people didn't know me, but my daughter said, he's at the gym.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So boxing was like, but yes, you know, boxing
becomes like a
I hated this sport at times. I love it at times, but it keeps bringing us back and back and back and back and back and back. And, you know, here we are.
Yes, sir.
Here we are.
And, you know, it's crazy. I heard about you a long time ago. I remember when I was in the amateurs, I would just see you and just like, oh, shoot, like, oh, that's Coach Dave, you know, and because I remember I would go through the Instagram and see you on Instagram posting. I also seen you've been around the game for a long time.
Douglas, I've been blessed.
Yes, sir.
Like this is, to me, look, I have 3 amateur fights. People ask me, were you a fighter? I said, yes, I was a fighter, a very bad one, okay, because I was, you know, I came to the sport late, okay, because I was a baseball player. And the only reason boxing found me is because my dad sent me to a boxing gym for conditioning.
Oh, wow.
He had a friend who was a trainer, and between boxing and lifting weights at that time, like there are no Planet Fitnesses, there's no Edge, there's no those clubs like that today, right? So I had to go. But you know what? I've been blessed in this sport. And not only by the people I met, but where I've been. I could not
That's a good one.
I have not, you know, like for me, I take it seriously and I love it. So like, it's not a job. Like it's not a job, and I have a job. I don't make my living in boxing. I don't do boxing full time. It's something I do. Eventually, it's going to get to that point. Hopefully, in the next 2 years. But I've been blessed to be in this sport and meet so many different people and see, you know, young fighters like yourself, older fighters, coaches, people putting it in, man.
I had one of my coaches say it's not about the finish line, it's the journey, you know, and
it is. You know what? And you know what? To listen to you talk about the respect that you have for your coach and your team, that's something that really gets me, because I think fighters today is tough because fighters jump around all over the place. They all think they know more.
I was like that until Wilner caught me, you know.
Yeah.
So back to how we met. When we met, it was like 6-7 years ago, and then I left original gym that we started, right where we started. He went and did his own thing, which is now Wilner Mendes Boxing, and I left. I went to Miami. I was living in Miami for a few, but I would always come back and forth. There was one time I came back and I went to his gym. He's like, "Yo, come stop by to my gym. Say what's up. Work with the amateurs, with the kids we got. Inspired them a little bit." So I came and I saw he had a good thing going on, and he spoke to me. He's like, "Listen, if you think I'm coming back, my mom's here as well. My mom lives here. My brothers live here.
Yeah, your family's here. Your family's here, right?
My mother's a single mother, so that kind of got to me. I'm like, at the moment, I was in a moment of like, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm gonna just do it, But then I thought back, and I was like, my mom needs me. She be calling me and like, "Are you coming? When are you coming? When can we see each other and everything?" So then my coach, he's like, "Listen, if you come back, we can make something happen with boxing, with your career. I see that you're still active," which I was. I got to meet a lot of Cuban boxers over there. The Cuban boxing
Where were you training in Miami?
Miami.
Where? What gym?
5th Street.
Oh, you were training at 5th Street.
At 5th
Nice.
Street.
Yeah.
We were there at 5th Street. A lot of Cubans.
So Ortiz was in there. Was Luis Ortiz in there?
Luis Ortiz?
The heavyweight. Cuban heavyweight.
At the time I was there, no.
Okay.
If anything, I got to see, not necessarily see, but Gervonta Davis was coming. He was doing a press conference there.
Yeah.
Jake Paul was there doing a press conference. But they did get a lot of bare knuckle fighters, which is bare knuckle is big time right now in Florida.
I know.
Big time.
I was there. I was at Pedro Diaz's gym with my hockey player a couple years ago.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I'm working with a bare knuckle fighter who's fighting January 25th.
At the BKFC or?
BKFC.
Because they have a lot. I don't know if you know Ken Shamrock. He's
I know the name.
WWE wrestler. He has a thing called Valor Boxing.
Yeah, Valor, yeah.
Jorge Masvidal has another thing, which is MMA bare knuckle. You have bare knuckle FC. You have there's so many. There's a couple.
It's a crazy. I went to the BKFC event in Sturgis with this fighter. There was 17,000 people there, bro. It was crazy, and it's a cross between wrestling and UFC. And honestly, you're like this because you're up and coming. You're fighting on promotions right now. You're not, and they took care of their fighters like unbelievable from the moment you walk in. From the moment they pick you up at the airport, they take you through. They got your gear laid out. They got this laid out. The hotel, everything is run first class.
So I almost had a contract sent to me because we stirred up something with this bare knuckle fighter. He was undefeated at the time, and he was coming up. He was a sensation in Miami. A lot of Cubans were behind him because he's Cuban. His name is Gallo. El Gallo Duran. Brian Gallo Duran. We could still make that happen if you want, But he, I called him out saying, "Listen, let's do sparring. I see you're big time here in Miami. I know what you do involves a lot of boxing. So let's get some sparring." He said, "Listen, I don't spar unless I know you like that, and I don't know you like that." He started this thing, and then he's like, "You got to pay me to spar you or this and that, or I'm going to spar you, but we're going to do bare knuckle sparring." I'm like, "Bare knuckle sparring? You're crazy."
Yeah.
So then we went to this bare knuckle. I went to this bare knuckle event. He was there. He wasn't fighting that night. He was just there watching. I think it's called Bare Knuckle Prospects, where they put you still fight with gloves though. And he was there, and then we clashed, and just at the moment I didn't pay attention. In boxing, you might know, you notice. You know this. Whenever you go into the ring, you block everything.
Yeah, you don't hear, you don't see anything. So.
Other than your coaches, probably you recognize the voice, right? Or when you come to the corner. But so he was there, and he had 15 Cubans behind him. I'm there with someone else, just us two. So we clash, and then we start going at it. And then I'm focused on him and his 15 crew members. But people started taking videos. We're
social media. You got to listen.
We're big time.
I get that thing. It's look, it's part of the game today. Your brand. You're the business.
Yes, sir. So that happened. He somebody took a video. Somebody took a video, and they posted it, and it went viral.
Yeah.
It went super viral, and then I told the bare knuckle fighter, the manager, I'm like, listen, the video went viral. I know they didn't take the fight because they said I didn't have a name. At the time, I was not a pro. I was still an amateur, working my way to becoming a professional fighter. So they're like, listen, you don't have a name. You don't have as much followers as Brian Gallo has. It doesn't make sense. And I'm like, you're right. Give me some time. Then, eventually.
Yeah, but they were probably thinking there was a chance you could beat him.
He never did amateur fights, and then I went back. He got beat by a amateur boxer that turned pro in the bare knuckle and beat him. I was like, oh, this is why you guys didn't want to take it. But it's understandable. We do this other than love for money. And if it doesn't make sense, it didn't make sense for him,
Listen, there's a business end of the sport
Yes.
now that, look, you're going to start to find that out as you start to progress in your career.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the beginning, but you know what? Fights have to make sense financially.
Yes, sir.
And to move, right?
Yes, sir.
So you need to find a guy that, okay, the money's right. It's a good fight style-wise.
And what they say is fights makes
fight, but also it's like, look, you're looking to go up. You're not looking to go down, right? So you're going to fight, what good is it to fight 10 guys and get a 10-0 record with 10 guys that really
trash?
I don't want to use that word.
Yeah, okay. So,
all right, but they're not on your level, right?
Yeah.
They're not on your level, right? They're beneath your experience. They're beneath your skill. And
yeah, but everybody's doing that, though.
But, okay, but I get it. But at some point, right, think like this. I don't know how you guys train. I don't know what your preparation is for camp. But I'm sure your coach, looking at him and seeing him at other shows with fighters that he has brought in there, there's good preparation.
Mm-hmm.
So he's challenging you in camp.
Yes, sir.
He's not bringing in 3 tomato cans for you to beat up and say, hey, Douglas, you look great. Give you water, throw a little grease on you, right? He's challenging you.
Mm-hmm.
At some point as a fighter, you have to know if you belong. So if you're beating up guys every week or every month and your record's 10-0 and they throw you in hard, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah,
You're not bad. You know what? You I don't know. You might not. But for me, fighters need to be challenged. You need to. It's like, okay, we got to walk a little bit, then we got to run, then we got to sprint, and then we got to bring them back down to a walk. And getting ready for fights and getting guys the only way you're going to make a name in this sport is to challenge yourself and beating better fighters. Okay? Are you going to lose fight? Are you going to win fights that maybe you should have lost? Yeah. You're going to lose fights you should have won? Absolutely. But you know what? Now you look at the box record and say, okay, man, this guy's fought this guy. He fought that guy. He fought this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So your resume speaks a lot.
I think so, personally. Should you get experience? Absolutely. In the beginning, I think, yes. Building a fighter, it's important. But you know what? You look at the fighter and you say, if his skill set is getting better and better each fight, each camp, you can't hold that horse back, right?
Yeah.
You're going to know it yourself. Think about this, man. You're fighting, right? Let's just say you're going to eventually turn around and say, hey, guys, I'm undefeated still. I need somebody in front of me. Give me somebody. Give me a fight. Give me this guy. Why is that guy fighting this guy? And we all see it. We see guys get fights that probably shouldn't get the fights. It's a political thing. It's a promotional thing. It's a money thing.
Yeah, something crazy happened last week with the Jaime Munguia fight. I feel like they slept on. I think the dude.
Who did you feel slept on that fight?
Australian. They slept on the Australian.
Why do you think that? And I love Jaime Munguia.
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, listen,
I'm a
me
fan
too. And if anything, I bought his shoes and everything, in support and
all
everything.
Right, so I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I happened to be in Canelo's camp when Canelo was getting ready for Munguia. Okay. Munguia. The shot that he beat him with in that fight he was working on every day in camp.
The boom boom.
Yeah, he was working on that shot. Every day. We watched it. It's like clockwork, right? And him and Eddie Reynoso, it's like they don't even talk to each other. They come in, they do their work. It's like they have mental telepathy about what they're doing, and he works his ass off. What for a guy that and people who don't know boxing, he's very, he's a businessman now, but that businessman works when he's in the gym. He spars 3-4 times a week. He's not 10 rounds. I'm not talking about, and they're not easy. He's got boom, boom, boom. But anyway, I saw that. In Munguia's last fight, he concerned me with his conditioning. And he got exposed a little bit in that last fight after the Canelo fight. I forgot who he fought his last fight.
I think he fought Gabe Rosado.
So he got exposed a little bit. He ended up winning the fight, but there were times in that fight that
it could have been
he had to
way.
pull it out his ass, I thought.
Yeah.
I think when you fight European fighters, yes, you take them for granted because they're a search and destroy. Latino fighters can move, okay? When you go into that bang-out mentality with a European fighter, but if you start giving them bang-out and you start moving, now it starts changing the game. But I think he has to go back. I think his conditioning needs to be better. I personally do.
You think his management kind of slept on the fighter as well? Or because I believe that fight was supposed to be a
build-up fight. I don't think they slept on it. I think it was a good fight because they felt that he should win the fight. And when he beat the fight, he was beating somebody who had a meaning, right? So he's going to move up again. He just didn't fight it. They bounced him back, right? And I definitely think it was a fight that he needed to win to get a bigger fight again. I think he's just young and he's still learning himself. Look, he's fought 2 times after he lost to Canelo and fought a great fight against Canelo for what he was. I mean, look, you fighting with a boxing Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, multi-belt. He's got over 65 wins in the sport. You got nothing to hang your head about fighting that guy.
You should be proud, yeah.
Yeah.
And they came to him like, listen, you might have lost the fight, but outside you won.
But see, that's the thing, Douglas. Like, I look at stuff like this, right? You're going to take a fight, okay? Tough fight, whatever. Maybe a fight that they don't think you're going to win. Maybe you're not the favorite in that fight. Maybe, right? You're going to fight the fight of your fight, right? You got nothing to lose in that fight. Munguia had nothing to lose. If he beats Canelo,
he wins.
He wins. If he looks good losing, he wins because his career is still going. It's not his last fight. Not his last fight. And that's what I mean sometimes, that you got to take a fight. You got to take a chance because that chance could lead to other chances, right? And as a young and up-and-coming fighter, look, there's one fighter right now that hasn't lost.
Crawford?
Floyd Mayweather is the
Floyd.
only undefeated professional right now. That's retired. I'm not talking about Crawford or anybody else, okay? But Mayweather's the only one with no losses on his record right now. It's a tough thing in boxing to go that long.
I mean, you also got Andre Ward, but that was like, what, 32, 34?
Yeah, but Ward lost one somewhere in there.
No, I think he's undefeated.
Is he?
Yeah. But he's not as much as Mayweather. And the other thing, too, is that Mayweather, the resume, if we go back to the resume,
but you know what? I love that because everybody says Mayweather didn't fight nobody. He fought this guy.
Yeah, they don't. Those are people that don't know about boxing.
Mayweather fought everybody they put into him. It's not his fault he saw Pacquiao late in Pacquiao's career. It's not his fault. Okay? Pacquiao could have took that fight at any time. Okay? Whatever the case may be, that's a whole different argument. But I'm right. He fought everybody. He fought De La Hoya, right?
Yeah.
Pacquiao. Okay?
You
Berto.
had Maidana.
Maidana twice.
You said De La.
Right? De La Hoya.
He fought.
Ortiz.
Zab Judah, too, right?
Zab Judah. Gaddy. Cotto. Yeah.
Yeah, his resume is impeccable.
Tell me who he didn't fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. So.
Yeah, we our next fight is gonna be against Ricardo Mayorga after this one. Ricardo Mayorga.
So I'll tell you a funny story about Ricardo Mayorga, right? I'm in Germany. Yeah, he can fight. He's a nut. He's a nut, right? I'm in Germany, right? So we're sitting in the lobby talking with a lot of people, right? And one of the guys happened to be Mayorga's, was involved with Mayorga.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this. Mayorga was a heavy smoker. Okay?
I heard stories.
Okay? So I said to the guy, I said, listen, I said, let me ask you a question. How the heck did this guy would suck cigarettes down after training? He goes, he would run in Nicaragua in the mountains. He said he had veins that were on, he said he could run forever. He could run, and he said he trained his ass off. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh. But I remember watching.
What?
He was a nutty guy.
I used to think that, like, if anything, he would do the cigarette thing on press conferences only, so people would think that he was a smoker.
I don't know. I seen stuff in between, and maybe training, and heard stories about that. But he was a nut.
Mm-hmm. I know. I heard stories about in Miami too. He was in Miami for a training camp a long time ago, and I would hear stories that he was out partying, doing heavy drugs. And,
Hector Camacho.
But didn't Camacho that had the fight in Canada? Was it in Canada? That the night before he was about to kill himself, he was drugged up or something, and then he came in the next day. He had the fight and he won. I don't know. I feel like it's a special person. You gotta be the chosen one for you to do stuff like that. No.
Listen, I think honestly, yes, there's certain people that could turn it on and off like that. That they could just do that. Will it catch up to you? I think so. Today, come on, man. The game is a different game today, and I was talking with Ryan too. All right, guys, boxing hasn't changed, right? Mm-hmm. The same fundamentals are the same fundamentals, man. You throw the jab. Everybody teaches you. Is there variation? Yeah, we could throw but you got to stand a certain way. You got to throw a certain way. You got to do a certain thing for these punches, right? The only thing in boxing that's changed is that your athletes, guys like yourself as a young fighter coming up, are better informed, in better shape, better conditioning, and better mentally. So as a fighter right now, right, and I'll get into this to you, what else do you do as a fighter besides train and do conditioning? Do you do recovery?
Yeah.
Do you eat properly? At
you
times, but when you're in camp,
in camp.
But
yes.
I'm not saying. Look, we're not all saints. We get it, right? But if coach says, "Hey, Douglas, we're getting ready for a 10-week fight, and you're at 170, ain't no more rice and beans, Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start cutting you down, right? And then he's gonna come up with a plan of your conditioning. Now, how old are you now?
26.
All right, 26. It's important that your body recovers.
Yeah, I heard Bernard Hopkins talk about that.
Years ago, fighters fought, right? 5-6 times a month.
Uh-huh. No, it was 12, 15 rounds.
Yeah, 12 rounds. No, not 12, 15. You know what I mean? For a championship fight then, right? So now it's important that your body recovers because now you're going to fight in February, right? Good. Everything happens well for you, right? Now you get a call in March, right? Hey, Douglas, we got another bout for you, in March. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm in good shape. I'm not hurt. I'm good. But you still need to recover your body because you're just coming out of an 8-week camp. You're coming out of a fight. Your body needs to recover.
How long you think a recovery should last?
Here, we do a lot of – I'm talking about recovery, meaning that it's part of your training. Mm-hmm. So when I say recovery means like this. Well, we utilize with our fighters, we use ice bath. Mm-hmm. We use saunas. We use swimming. We make sure they're eating right.
Yeah.
All right, you met Coach G out there.
Yes, sir.
Breathing. We make sure our fighters do breathing exercises.
Techniques.
They're eating good. Their supplements. It's a whole package. And, excuse me, it depends on your body. Your body's different than mine and coaches, right? Mm-hmm. And you might have little nagging injuries that you need to get attentive to. You're the business, right? The fighter's the business. You got to take care of the business. What does that mean? Your body, your hands, your physically, that's the business. It's got to be part of everything. So my point, these older fighters never did that stuff today. Now, fighters know, bro, you can go on your phone. We talked about this. I'm making fun of you with the GoPro, right? But you can go on your phone and get information on anything, right? You want to, right? Years ago, you already know who you're fighting on. You probably guys watch tape already. You already know what this guy does already, right? Years ago, you had to try to find film or VHS. You know what the frig that was like? To find VHS on a fighter somewhere? As the internet came out.
Everything's accessible now.
Right now, you could sit here, You can go back in the car with Coach when you're going back to the gym and watch clips of your guy. You put it in your head.
Already done.
Yeah, right.
Done,
it's
baby.
already done, right?
You're locked
So
and loaded.
you already know what he's doing, right? He does this. He chews gum. He does blah, blah, blah. You're already finding stuff that that you could pick up on, right? Already, right there. So
Instant.
the game is changing as far as this and taking care of yourself and the longevity of fighting.
You know what? I'm also hearing that supposedly big fight coming up on Saturday, but they got this AI thing that they want to use.
They're going to judge. Hey, listen. Okay, let me ask you this. I don't care how many fights you won. I don't care how many fights you lost. I know damn well you felt there was a fight that you might have lost that you won and you got your ass robbed. And I hate to use that term, that what the fuck were they looking at? That when you went back and looked at a tape with your coach and said,
We won that
fucking
fight.
robbed me.
Yeah.
We won that fight. What did I do wrong? So, I don't know. Judging, I think, is a tough sport. I'm not going to disrespect any of them. I think my theory of judging is this. When you watch tennis, where's the judge? He's in a chair, sitting back, right? Why? He's looking down, so he sees everything. You've been to fights. You work corners, right? You've sat in the corner with Coach,
Yes,
right?
sir.
How hard is it to watch the fight sometimes?
It's hard.
That fight in a big arena with a lot of people yelling and screaming and shit happening fast and you're trying to focus, what do you think's happening with the judge?
And it's a lot of stuff going on, distractions and everything.
They're not and then you know what? We had a fight, and it was Omar Bordoy,
Okay.
right? Last fight of the night, we fight in the main event up in New Hampshire. I don't even want to say the card. I want to say the judges were like 80 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
We get the last fight of the night.
They're already sleeping.
So they go to announce the winner. The ref walks over to Omar and's got his wrist ready to go up, putting his wrist up, and they call the other guy. And okay. But my point being is they never switched judges out. It was the same guys. Long night, long day.
To get paid.
Yeah, but
To me, same place. I know. They give me a draw. And
we got the loss.
I knock him out. I drop him and give me a draw.
Yeah, we got the loss. But, but back to you. All right. What was your decision to go pro? I mean, after your amateur career here throughout the tri-state area, when was the time that you sat down and said, hey, I really want to do this to the next level? What was the decision?
6 months ago. 6
Yeah,
months.
but what
and
was
six-
that? How did you get to that decision? What brought it about?
It's just one of the reasons the judging system in amateurs. I was like, there was a couple fights that I knew I could have won, that I should have won. They gave it to another dude. Also, I would see another guy do the same thing where we saw clearly red corner won, but they gave it to the blue.
Yeah.
That's one. The other one is I don't know. It's just I felt it was time. It was time to take the mask off, and go straight to no bare face, whatever. I don't know. I like it. I like it better. It feels better.
Now, are you a full-time fighter? Do you work?
Yeah, I work. I do some bouncing gigs, and I'm up for hire. So whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
We paint houses.
Yeah, right.
No, I do bouncing gigs on now and there, especially for holidays. Right now, it's coming up. We train people as well. I do, I train kids. We do classes. I love everything that has to do with boxing. I love.
Yeah.
I like to be around.
But everything
boxing.
is now you're focusing on your career. Everything is around. How did now did you sign with Jimmy right away, or no?
No, we had to hunt that man down. We was like falcons, birds, pigeons. We did first we fought in Boston. Our first two fights were in two fights were in Boston. And then, I told my coach, let's go watch these fights. He's like, okay, let's go do it. And it was CES.
Yeah.
And then I already knew, by the time I knew Mr. Jimmy, and great guy, I knew who he was, what he did. And I kind of Googled him a little bit to see his story, what he was about. And then my coach is like, oh, yeah, I know them. Blah, blah, blah. So we went down there, and then we saw Mr. Jimmy, and then we started speaking to him. Like, listen, we're this. We're fighters, coming up. We got the skills. We got the charming. We got everything. And so he's like, okay, this and that. He gave us a card, give us a call, this and that. And then next thing you know, now hour after, we were over here, the same thing. Hey, Mr. Jimmy, how you doing? And then he's like, okay, listen, meet us at the after party, and then we talk better because we were at the arena, everything was going on. And then, so, this is how, like, I know me and my team, we're so dedicated to this. Like, we were there before they were there.
Yeah.
We were waiting on them. They're like, and then Mr. Jimmy was like, oh, you guys are really, really want this bad. And I'm like, of course, because, we have no time to spare. And we really want this to happen. We have something, my coach was telling he has something in his hands. We're cooking something, and with the right guidance and right promotion and right tools, which Mr. Jimmy has to offer, we can make it. And then we got that fight like 4 months ago at Foxwoods. That was our first fight. We came out, rocking guitars, hats.
I was there. I saw you fight.
And that's nothing. That's little by little what we're trying to do. We wanted some fireworks, but they said they don't allow fireworks up in there. So that's one of them. But we're trying to make a name, At the moment, he does not. I'm Guatemalan and Mexican as well, so he doesn't have that combination of like the Spanish people in his card. I think he has Haimani, which is he's Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah, he's got Lefty Marrero.
Puerto Rican. He doesn't have a Mexican.
Yeah, no,
Guatemalan.
he's got Alejandro is Dominican.
Yeah. So we're the only ones right now making noise. Yeah. Well, as far as like
plus,
that
I think he's a little lean in the 160 division. I don't think he's real.
He has the dude I'm fighting. He's 160. I think he has 3 or 4 fighters that are 160. Other than that, he doesn't. He has a lot of super welterweights and lightweights.
Yeah.
But
Mexico's so big in boxing.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, we're putting in other than there's one fighter out of Stanford, but other than that, there's nobody really making noise other than us, and we're bringing a whole fan base. And
well, look, I got a great relationship, my heavyweights with Jimmy. I've had other fighters, that have worked for him, and to me, he's a very, very hard-working promoter. He's a man of his word. When he shakes your hand, he shakes your hand. If you have loyalty to him, he's gonna go through the wall. He's gonna fight for his fighter. I don't know if he got arrested.
Yeah, he hit another heavyweight.
Heavyweight in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he told us the story.
Yeah, so I mean, I like that. But you know what? The main factor that you got to go with CES is they got the casinos unlocked. So like all right, as an up and coming fighter, you're gonna fight locally for maybe 4 times a year at least, at a minimum. As long as
you're always active.
And look, he's put his fighters in big fights. He's had Jermaine, against Lomachenko, had him in against Tio.
Which he won.
Yeah. And then, look, he had the kid last week.
On the DAZN?
Yeah, on the DAZN card. He's going to get you. Right? He's going to get you there.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. He, like, at the beginning, he was kind of like...
But you know what, Douglas? It's a marriage. Think about this, okay? I'm sure you were like that with your coach a little bit at the beginning. You were like, till you said, oh, yeah, this is a good fit. But right away, it's like we feeling each other out. It's the same thing when I'm training. And I tell people, like, you know what? You might not be a fit for me, or I might not be a fit for you. That's the first thing I'll tell a fighter. I say, listen, ain't no hard feelings. You might not like my style of coaching. You might not like and that's not a problem. You need to let me know up front in the beginning, and hey, be thankful, go do your career, and we're cool. But you know what? And I think that's a smart way to go. But honestly, I'm biased to Mr. B. I'm a big supporter of CES, and anybody that I have, we look to go that way first because I know what he can bring to the table.
Yes, sir.
And the only difference is like you get a 1% kid who's going to sign with Top Rank or Matchroom or something like that. That's a different ball game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gave us an opportunity, a chance. The first fight, he's like, all right, let's see what you got. And then, we could talk after. So he gave us the fight. And then he's like, immediately, all right, let's work. And, but we also, we're putting in the work. My coach, guidance, my team, everybody support us. We appreciate it to them. Without them, honestly, without my team, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
No, it takes a village. That's what the other people don't realize. That's what people don't realize in boxing, okay? It takes your coach. There's other people that are doing things for you, your family. I mean, what's your mother's reaction about you fighting?
Well, at the moment, she couldn't do nothing because she wasn't here. She was in Guatemala when I first started boxing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same. My wife, my girlfriend is the same way, right? It's not the same as like if I were to go in there and get my ass whooped every single time. There's gonna be times I'm gonna get my ass whooped, but it's the learning process. But other than that, I'm not gonna go there and get boom and boom and boom and boom. So they saw that I had some skills, I had something to work off, which I do, and I keep on building up every day. I train hard as well. But I have these gems with me who they throw me a little bit of game here and there what they know. We're also growing as well together. Yeah.
Who you been working with? No, I mean sparring wise. Who have you worked with?
Everybody. Yeah. Anywhere I could get work, I'll get it. I get work, and I don't shy to nobody. Honestly, if you're a pro and you're this and that. Like I said, I was in Colombia too.
Yeah.
I saw you in Colombia. I was in Boxing 101. I went there in the sparring as well. And they saw me. They're like, shit, At first, they were trying to fill me out. So they put me in with someone that really wasn't that. And then they saw like, that, move. They couldn't hit me. They're like, all right, we're going to put in this guy. Which was, they had a 160 pounder there. Which is, they do fights there, right?
Yeah, they have pro bouts there, but they got some good fighters there.
They have he was a W. I don't know.
Yeah,
he has a belt, right?
I know what you're talking about.
He has a belt.
I know. Him and the girl.
Yeah. They both. Well, they had another girl who was fighting, but she lost for a belt.
I'm talking about the girl. I think they call Chinga, big girl. Yeah, she's
black hair, right?
Yeah, she can fight that girl, man. She can fight.
But listen, I've been blessed to be around.
Yeah.
The world boxing. And everywhere I go, I've been to San Juan, La Perla. I went to they told me, listen, don't go to La Perla because La Perla is dangerous. I said, okay. I went to La Perla, and then they saw me, and they're like, I stopped the dude, and they're like, listen, oh, shoot, you're good. Whenever you want to come back and work, come down.
That's the thing, man. It's like, look, if you walk in humble, you're going to earn your respect in the ring.
Yeah.
You walk in humble, you're not going to say nothing. You walk in, you do what you do, and you're going to earn the respect of everybody in that gym. You walk in running your mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the fighter's name. I will to you later on when we
Adrian
walk
Broner.
No. I didn't never. But you'll know who the fighter is. And, we ended up sparring with him, had to wait. And he came in disrespectful as hell. And, okay. And there was a lot of trash talk during the spar until our guy and then it was like, oh, you could fight. No shit. We didn't drive 3 hours because we thought we couldn't fight. We drove 3 hours because you wanted sparring and we knew it would be good sparring and we would be competitive with you. Mm-hmm. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's like we watched their faces as coaches, as his coach and as him change as the sparring went on. It went from trash talking to
humble.
Yeah, there were crickets.
I'm
for
telling
a
you,
little while.
I'm a person. I've always been like that. Like even with him, it took time for him to know my true self and everything.
Yeah, because we're older. You're a young buck.
Yeah, I guess.
You're coaching now. We're a little older. We got a little bit.
That'll be a good talk with him too. He knows a lot of things, and you know a lot of things.
You know
as
what
well.
I'm saying? So we got a little different way, but we're gonna let you run around the field a little bit, and then when it's time, we're gonna yank.
You know what's the
back.
other thing too? Like I grew up with a lot of older people.
Yeah.
I really was never really, like my circle was never really young people. They were all more mature. So at an early age, I was already mature enough to like understand, like, you gotta be humble. Now, I've gained a couple followers on Instagram. I'm getting my videos and everything, but still, I have him who like, listen, get off that horse, because you gotta calm down. So
well, right? As you go on in this career in this sport, and as you're more successful, there's going to be somebody like you with that swagger that's going to want to knock you off. Like where you are right now. You want to make a name for yourself in this sport, which is duly right? That's what we do it for, right? To be successful. And you know what? I think you need that confidence as a fighter. Like, I think if you're sitting home, man, I got to go fight 12 rounds tomorrow. I got to fight 10. I got to spar this guy. And you're always second-guessing yourself. It's not the sport for you.
Listen, right now I'm believing I'm the best, even though if I'm not. And
listen, you know what? As a kid, I was not a big fan of Muhammad Ali because in that era, Muhammad Ali was a trash talker, and they weren't trash talkers. I love Joe Frazier. That was my fighter, right? Joe Frazier was just a blue-collar guy. Came in, beat the shit out of your ass.
Yeah.
Didn't say much, until Ali whipped his ass in the second fight, right? But going back, Ali played mental warfare with you. It wasn't just trash talk. It was mental warfare. And honestly, I've learned to I've read a lot about him. I've watched his fights. I watched tape on him over and over. He was so ahead of his time of what he did, not only as a fighter, as a man, as a thinker.
That's how they say he's one of the best, right?
Honestly,
what he did in the ring and outside.
He did so many things. I mean, it was just different times in America at that time with the war and racism and everything else. It was crazy times, right? But honestly, if he was a fighter today, he'd be the highest paid athlete in the world.
Most likely.
He could command a room unbelievably. And he was a humble guy, talked to everybody, was never just, I never met him. I wish I did. But, I mean, it's crazy. But getting back to that fighter, you got to have a little bit of that brash.
Yes, sir.
You got to have, look, why do people don't like Floyd? Floyd got brash, but he backs it up.
Yeah, he's
and
confident.
then people want to see him lose because he's talking trash. But you know what? Does he play mental warfare with you? Look at the Madonna fight. The one fight that Madonna almost had that fight. I don't know if you...
The first one, yeah.
Yeah. Madonna had chances in that fight to win the fight, right? Floyd took him out mentally. Look at the Ortiz fight.
Yeah, where he boom, boom.
Yeah, but look at the Ortiz fight. Ortiz had him on the ropes and was putting it on Floyd for a minute. It could have maybe changed the fight. There was a possibility, right? Ortiz lost the mental aspect of the fight, and
he paid the price.
People say, "Oh, it was dirty." No, it's not dirty. You in the ring. Keep your hands up.
Yes,
Ref
sir.
said box. All right,
Yeah.
I think that's a big part. But, so, when's camp going to end for you?
Never.
No, for this next fight. So you're February 22nd, right? Foxwoods, right?
Yes, sir.
Got the holidays coming up, right? Got to get through that. Back to camp.
We already started camp. We already started. But, as far as eating, I know how to handle myself. I don't let peer pressure, nobody in the exterior to dominate me and tell me, no, you can't do it. Oh, you eat this, just eat that. I work at a I won't say club, but it is kind of club. People drink and they try to take. I'm like, no, you can't. As far as drinking, drugs, I come from that world. Yeah. I come from the world of drugs. Doing stupid stuff. I already passed that, and I want something different for me. And I know I'm gonna get it one way or another. I don't know when and I don't know how, but it's gonna come.
Yeah.
So, as far as like food wise, I'll eat whatever I want to eat, and that's about it. So we're always taking care of ourselves as well.
Yeah. what can we expect this fight for you? I mean, what is your? I know your opponent. Tell me what you see. I've seen him fight. I've seen him. What do you guys?
I see a lot of boxing.
Without giving the secret sauce to Coach Mendez over here.
I see a lot of boxing.
What does it look like?
A lot of boxing. I know he's gonna come in. There's certain moves that he repeats a lot. We already studied for that, but sometimes what happens is that you study someone and it doesn't end up being like that. So we're preparing the best we can as well. And I know we're going to get the job done on February 22nd. I know what he comes with. I know what to expect, but I cannot sleep. If I sleep, I'm done. And I can't let that happen.
Yeah. I mean, look, in the short time you've been a pro, you've been pretty active. It's got to be good to be able to get back in the ring again.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's ready. You know, the worst thing is idle time for a fighter to sit around and wait for a call to get a fight.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
You know, that's the worst thing in this sport. That unfortunately is something that's not always in a fighter's control. But you know, your family dynamic. How do you balance it between your girl, your family?
Oh, she knows. She's been supportive all this time for that. You know, she knows whenever I have to go train, whenever I can't see her. Yeah. You know, as far as the smooshy as well. Yeah. You know,
listen, it's part of the thing too, man. It is. You know what I mean? I've walked out of my house on Thanksgiving Day, and you know, I have family sitting in there having Thanksgiving dinner. See you later. I gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah, she's understandable.
You know, we train. You know,
my family
365. If a guy's fighting, it don't matter.
Yeah, everybody's understandable about that. You know, they're supportive as well, and you know, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed, and I can't slack because you know if I start slacking, it's a disrespect to them, to my people, to my family, to my trainers, my team, and it's a disrespect to myself as well. But you gotta go for it.
Yeah, we go. I got you. I sense that. Not a problem. So we're gonna kind of wrap this up. Quick question. Sir. If you were to give somebody advice at your age to be in this sport or do something, what would it be?
What?
Okay. What advice would you give to somebody who wanted to be a fighter or be in this sport? What would be the advice you give them?
Keep your hands up. No, just be smart, man. Learn the basics. You know, that's what. You know, Floyd Mayweather is hated by a lot. Yeah. But he is right. You know, this sport is to hit and not get hit.
No doubt.
So once you learn the basics, I guess, you know, the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Once you learn the fundamentals, then you can go off that. But learn the fundamentals, keep your hands up, and move your fucking head.
All right, real quick, tell everybody where we can find you on social media. And then real quick, I'm going to tell you real fast, he's fighting February 22nd. CES Promotion, Mr. Jimmy Burchfield, Foxwoods. Don't sleep on this young man. He's an exciting fighter. I'm really happy that he came out here. We've been talking for a couple of years and finally got to sit down and kind of chop it up, man. And I'm excited to watch you because I like your swagger, to be honest with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So you can find me on social media, Douglas Marroquin 21 or 98 Douglas Marroquin 21. Everything Douglas Marroquin 21. Right. That's it.
So, you know, look for him February 22nd.
Foxwoods Casino, Resort and Casino. You already know we're stopping this dude. If not, I'm biting his ear off.
And we want to shout out your coach from Mendez Boxing.
William Mendez Boxing.
William Mendez, thank you, Coach. We appreciate
Norwalk,
you coming
Connecticut. We're putting everybody on we're putting Norwalk on the map. Norwalk, other than what's his name? Travis Sims. But Stanford has not had a champion. You know, so that's one of the things we're trying to conquer. The other thing, Guatemala has never had a boxing champion. Mexican, the first Mexican boxing gym in Norwalk and Stanford. So there's a lot of things we have to conquer. A lot of goals we have proposed to ourselves, and we need to see them come to fruition.
Well, we wish you guys a lot of luck. Actually, I want to come out there before you break for camp and do a little video at the gym. Do some interview with you and the coach.
Appreciate it.
Kind of just as you're breaking up, give you a little promotion. But once again, we thank you guys for all the support on Coach's Corner. You know, Douglas Marroquin, February 22nd.
Boom.
Foxwoods Casino, Coach William Mendez Boxing in Norwalk, Connecticut. Don't sleep on these gentlemen. And until the next Coach's Corner, train hard, train smart, and we'll see you in the next round.
Let's go. Be there or be squared.